Okay, this is a bit of a long share, but you're going to want to listen. It's about self-advocacy and the medical system in the States. So I had my first bone density scan about 5 weeks ago, but the bone density scan machines are apparently from the era of Jim Crow laws, where you have to say you are white or black or Asian or Hispanic. There's no room for us who are other, mixed. I'm going to try to be very concise with this, but the technician then in August said, okay, we'll pick one. And I said, I don't pick one. I can't pick one. And I have an idea for how this can work, but I'm not medical nor an inventor, so I'll share that at the end. But she chose to just straight up put black for me because there's no other, right? So she put that in the machine and ran my bone density scan. So the very next day, my primary calls and she said, we need to have a telehealth call. In the telehealth call, I'll skip the details, but she was like, I don't understand this. Your vitamin D levels are completely fine. I don't understand this. It says you are in full-blown osteoporosis, very high osteoporosis. And I said, well, I know that my white mother and my white grandma had bone loss. I wouldn't be surprised of some, but full-blown doesn't make sense. And she kept saying, I just don't understand this. Your vitamin D level is fine, right? It made no sense. So I said, could you please ask the radiologist to run it again with the toggle on white and see if the results changed? Because she was like, I'm going to send you to a rheumatologist. You guys can talk about protocol. And I was like, if I need to, I'll be a good girl and talk to anybody. But can you please have them run this as white and then we can try to hit the middle somewhere? She said yes and resubmitted that same day. This was 5 weeks ago. I called 3 times, not day after day, and just said, have the new results come in? Have the new results come in? No, because it was a, rerun and they weren't doing it. Finally, somebody random called me back and said, oh, they said if they rerun it, the results wouldn't change and you still are the same results. And I said, really politely, bullshit. So they said, okay, you can get another bone density scan in a year when insurance is ready for it. And I said, well, I'm not running stress on this because I know that this is actually not my diagnosis. I'm not claiming it. But I'm also not waiting a year and walking around with full-blown osteoporosis on my chart or in the back of my mind. So now I'm going to tell you about the second bone density scan, supposedly. But I'm also going to share with you how I lined up angels who helped me and saved me $900. So I showed up for my second bone density scan, and I was early, I'm never early, and it was really full in there, and they were calling up lab people, like blood test people, but not the radiology people. I was early, I'm never early. And after like 20 minutes, though, I went up and I said, I actually have an appointment, and I'm here for radiology, bone density scan, and the black man who was supposed to be handling labs, there was a white woman handling radiology, but they were both fielding labs. He said, I've got you, come over here. So he was checking me in and I explained to him really briefly why I was back 5 weeks later. And he was like, on your insurance, it's going to be close to $900 if you do this. And they don't cover it except for 1 year. And I said, I'm pretty aware. And I said, but here's what's going on. And this needs to shift. And he said, hold on a minute. And he went back and then pulled me into the back as if I could go to the scan. This white, probably my same age-ish, radiology woman, she said, okay, what's going on? So I told her everything also succinctly, and she was like, come back with me. She brought me back to the bone density scan room and said, I'm going to rerun this chart for you now as white. And she did. Both my hip and my lumbar, right? And the numbers did change. I said, I know I'm not medical, but I'm not an idiot. And no, it does not put me like free and clear in the green, but it puts my hip high osteopenia, low osteoporosis, and my lumbar kind of a little higher in the osteopenia and touching the osteoporosis, but they are very markedly different results, which means I'm somewhere in the middle because I'm not white and I'm not black. So now that radiology lady Angel is going to have the radiologist read it again and send it to my primary, and I go from there. I mean, I'm not skipping down the road that I have high-level osteopenia, but I knew the results would be different. The only person who's going to get those results to be different is me self-advocating, and now I can step forward and walk forward and support my bones and my health with full-blown knowledge of what's going on.